There is coaching advice that sounds absolutely incredible. Something that you would probably hear at Arsenal Academy. Something that you expect Pep Guardiola to say on the touchline. And I followed that for years. However, it does absolutely nothing, and we're going to break that down now. Coaches absolutely love advice that sounds intelligent. It makes you feel like you know what you're doing. When other parents or coaches look at you, it makes you look like you know what you're doing. However, this generally suggests that you don't know what you're doing. I used to do this all the time. I used to say something in a session, stand back and think to myself, that sounded absolutely unreal. But essentially, no one knows what you're talking about. For example, the phrase, just play quicker. Think to yourself, what does that actually mean? Because when you're coaching it, you think that you saying just play quicker, the players are instantly just going to start moving the ball around like prime Barcelona with that midfield triangle of Iniesta, Xavi and Busquets. They're just going to start going tiki-taka football. Like, no. Just play quicker is absolute nonsense. It doesn't matter if you say it louder, doesn't make it a better coach. It doesn't matter if you're running up and down the sideline saying defeat. It doesn't help, right? Just play quicker means absolutely nothing. Players aren't playing slow intentionally, right? If you say that, I'm not sure why a player hasn't looked over to you and said, how? Right? Because again, there are ways to play quicker, but you saying just play quicker as a coach is not doing anything. It is probably slowing them down more than anything, right? They're playing that pace for a reason. They can't play any quicker because they don't have any options. They can't play any quicker because there's no one playing around them to play a one-touch or a two-touch pass. So you saying just play quicker is getting you and your team absolutely nowhere. Next one that I hear and will continue to hear continuously is be brave on the ball. Now it sounds amazing, but it means absolutely nothing to a child, especially a grassroots to a low-level player. If you're saying be brave on the ball, they're gonna think that they are a bloody Spartan or a Star Wars trooper going into battle. They don't know what be brave on the ball means. Okay, please break it down for them and tell them to maybe take a few extra touches, be a creative. Right? Can you create space with a skill? Can you take a shot? Can you whip in across? Nothing says be brave like losing the ball and instantly getting hooked once you've done it. All right? If you do want your players to be brave on the ball, they are going to make mistakes first of all. Please allow them to make a mistake, because as soon as you chop them off the field for them not doing a Cruyff turn into a Rabona cross like you've wanted them to be brave on the ball, right? They're never going to do it again. So you want their confidence to be flying, allow them to be brave on the ball, but please, please, please explain and show them what that looks like. Don't just say it for the sake of saying it. Another one that I actually heard this at the tournament over the weekend, and I'm not even exaggerating to you. I don't think the players knew what he was saying. I don't know if there was a new coach or if they just don't know the term, but they was just saying, move the ball, all right? Move the ball, move it, move the ball, move the ball. Like, how? Where? Who to? What direction? How are we going home to the goalkeeper? Do you want me to play it forward? Like, move the ball is just noise to these kids unless there is some form of explanation or reference point to what they are doing. Like, where do you want them to play? Like, they look so lost. You want them to move it forward, sideways, backwards, emotionally, spiritually. Like, how? Right? These sayings, all three of these sayings, can be used in a positive way, but coaches are just saying it because they want to sound like the next Mourinho, right? they've seen it work on their Sunday league team growing up back in Farversham on the south coast, and they're like, we was top dogs, we won the league. But these little 5 to 10-year-olds don't know what you're saying. We've got to take that into consideration when we are coaching, especially on a game day. Now, ultimately, why do we say these stuff? Because again, I know I am taking the piss out of coaches here, but I can hold my hands up and say that I used to be one of these coaches. Hence why I'm giving you this video right now, because I don't want you to make the same mistakes I did 10 to 15 years ago. Right? I am a changed man and I am in a better place for it. So I am giving you this information to help you become the coach that you want to be. Now, you will reflect on this, and the main culprits of when you are making these statements is probably when you're frustrated, when you don't have the answer yet, when you feel pressure to say something, especially if you're on the same sideline as your parents. There's been so many times and situations, I will say, especially in cup finals, where you want to say something for the sake of saying something, and that is not going to get you anywhere, because you could even end up saying the wrong thing, a player making a mistake because you've said move the ball, right? They've not moved the ball in any way, shape or form how you wanted it to happen or how you planned it in your head, like the next passing pattern to become Bayern Munich's next manager, right? They've tried it. It's not worked out, you've conceded, and then you're going to get a massive head loss, because essentially they've done what you've wanted them to, what you've told them to do, with no explanation whatsoever. So instead of just shouting typical random buzzwords like a Sunday league manager on the sideline, what you can actually do to help your players in certain situations, and you want to maybe get the best out of them, or even help them to be able to progress in what they are trying to do? First of all, less shouting. All right. Can you keep it calm? Can you give a great direction? And can it be more talkative? Okay. Sometimes this is a little bit harder if you're on the sideline and you're having to talk to the right winger, but then can you do it whilst the ball is out of play? Can you even tell your left winger, Joe, just swap to the other wing real quick. I need to speak to Larry. Bring him over, and then can you ask him what you wanted to do? For example, if you want him to be braver on the ball, can you next say to him, Larry, I love what you're trying to do, but instead of trying to beat your player every single time, can you maybe look for a give and go, right? If we are going to be brave on the ball, can we be more creative, right? Give him a high five. Tell him to get back onto that right side and twist up the left back. Okay. Can you make sure that you are asking questions of your players rather than shouting out these buzzwords like move the ball? When the ball goes out of play, or if we lose the ball, or if it goes out for a goal kick, etc., have a shot, can we say as a collective to your back line, lads, next time, can we move the ball a little bit quicker to our fullbacks, who can then look to play forward with a through ball? Or can you say to your centre backs, lads, can we move the ball into a channel so we are under less pressure next time, rather than us try and connect these passes or take too many touches at the edge of our box? So again, you're asking them to move the ball, but there is more direction, and you're asking better questions of your players. Now again, I'm not preaching that I am the best coach in the world, right? I am talking to you guys as someone who has made these mistakes, that still sees these mistakes on a week-to-week basis, and wanting to make sure that people don't follow in my footsteps. So if they do, or if they are doing it, can you start to change your ways a lot quicker than I did? Everyone is guilty of it at some point, right? Everybody sees Arteta bubbling on a sideline, looking like there's going to be steam coming out of his ears, right? It's a part of learning, but awareness is the key in this situation. So what I challenge you to do this weekend in your game, or your friendly, or your tournament, or even just the last 5 minutes of your practice, take a step back, right? Allow the players to make a mistake, See if you can see a pattern between what's happening. Get those buzzwords out of your system. And if you are going to tell your player to be brave on the ball, move the ball a little bit quicker, then please make sure that there is some direction to it, because they do need to hear these things, and what you are trying to say is potentially the right thing. It is just how you deliver it. Make sure that you are giving it in a tone where it doesn't seem like you are pissed off at them every 2 seconds, and make sure that they know how, where, and why to do so.